Good afternoon, students. Welcome to the lecture of Real Analysis 2. In the last lecture, we have started with an example which depends on countable subadditivity property of an outer measure. The example says that if the outer measure of a set is 0, say A, then outer measure of A union B is outer measure of B itself. This we have proved. Then we have seen an important preposition that outer measure M star is translation invariant. In order to prove this to be translation invariant, we have to start with a set A of real numbers and then we will write its covering also rather than open covering. Once we find the open covering for the given set A as union IN, where IN are the collection of open intervals, then outer measure we can define inferior of sum of length of those intervals, and by infimum property of the sets one can find out summation L of I less than m star of A plus epsilon. After this, we will find out the set A plus X, because as our aim is to find out as our aim is to prove the properties translation invariant, we will just add an element X on both the sides. Adding the element X on both the sides and following these steps, we reached up to the inequality that outer measure of A plus X is less than or equals to summation I, length of IN. But summation length of IN is less than or equals to m star of A plus epsilon. Knowing epsilon arbitrary, one can write m star of A plus X is less than or equals to m star of A. That is, outer measure of A plus X is less than or equals to outer measure of A. Now the point remains to prove the reverse part of the inequality. For this, we will start with outer measure of A. Now this outer measure of A we will just write as an adjustment as A plus X minus X, where we will denote the set A plus X by B and the element minus X by Y. Now whatever is the translation, either on the right part of the set or on the left part, it plays a role of a translation itself. Therefore, if I write this as this set as B plus Y, we will get outer measure of B plus Y is less than or equals to outer measure of B with this statement number 2, proving the reverse part of the inequality, and combining both, we will get outer measure of A is outer measure of A plus X. Therefore, it implies that outer measure is translation invariant. Up to this, we have seen that this outer measure is going to satisfy all the properties satisfied by the length of an interval. What are the properties satisfied by the length of the interval? Yes, length of the interval is non-negative.
Non-negative.
Yes, next.
It
What
is
we
countable additive.
Yes, it is countable additive. What we have written, length of union II is equal
Is
to
equal to
summation.
summation
Summation of length of iron.
Good. Next, third is,
length is translation invariant.
Translation invariant.
that is L of I plus X is equal to L of I. Right now, and it is defined for all the all the intervals of the real
Interval.
line. That is also one of the properties. So whatever is this outer measure we have found as a generalization of length, it satisfies all the properties except which property we have proved. Outer measure
Countable
is
subadditive.
yes. Outer measure satisfies the first, is non-negative. Outer measure is translation invariant. The only question is about the countable additivity. Therefore, we have proved that outer measure is not countably additive, but rather it is countably subadditive. Okay. Now the question is to discuss that when this outer measure will become countably additive. Okay. Actually, this outer measure was defined for any subset of R. Correct? If it is defined for any subset of R, then what is the domain of your function m star? This is power set of R, no? It is defined for
Yes,
any
ma'am.
subset, right? What is the codomain we have defined?
Extended real numbers.
Extended real numbers.
Yes, 0 to infinity I can say. But here I'll write R plus union infinity, right now? Now, our job is to discuss what should be the restriction on the domain of this outer measure so that this is going to become countably additive. Instead of countably subadditive, we want it as countably additive, right? Now, the special set or the special kind of sets is being defined by the mathematician Liebig so that this outer measure will become countably additive. And the class of that special set was called as measurable set. The class of all those functions is called as measurable set given by the mathematician Liebig. That's why it is also called as Liebig measurable set. That is what we were going to discuss in today's lecture. Before that, let us have a look on the two definitions, F sigma and G delta. In detail, we have seen in the last lecture. F sigma is the collection of is a set which is the countable union of closed sets. G delta is countable intersection of open sets. We have proved one proposition as well, that is, if given set is given, if a set is given to us, then there exists a open set containing A whose outer measure of O is less than or equals to outer measure of A plus X. Now also there exists a set G in G delta containing A where both the outer measures are equal. This preposition we were going to use for the further discussion. Okay. What we were discussing just now, outer measure is a function actually defined for all subsets of real number, right? All subsets of real number. Therefore, what we were writing the domain of this m star. This is power set of real numbers, right? And then this is r plus union infinity, non-negative real numbers. Okay. But with this domain, m star is not going to be countable additive. This is countably subadditive. Okay. In order to convert this m star to be countably additive, we have to restrict the domain. We have to restrict the domain of the function outer measure. Okay. Now, in order to restrict the domain, Liebig has defined a special kind of set called as measurable set. Okay. What is the meaning of the measurable word? Measurable.
Countable.
No, it is a set whose measure can be possible. Or for set which we can measure. A set which we can measure is measurable, right? Therefore, Liebig has given the new kind of set, Liebig measurable set. With this restriction of the domain to be Liebig measurable sets, we will check whether this outer measure will be countably additive or not. Therefore, in today's lecture, we are going to study the Liebig measurable set. Liebig measurable set. Okay. Now the definition says that, let me write a definition first and then we will discuss. The definition says that a set E is said to be measurable. Is said to be measurable if for any set, if for any set A, note out this A is a subset of real number. We have outer measure of A is equal to outer measure of A intersection E added with outer measure of A intersection E complement. This is what a textbook definition is. We'll try to understand what this definition means to us or what is the meaning of this definition. Okay, we were discussing the set E to be measurable, but for this, for any set A, this statement is going to hold. This statement is going to hold. Okay, let us try to understand this by a Venn diagram. Let me draw a Venn diagram here. Okay, this is one set. Now let me draw both the sets A and E with the help of circles, say A and E. Okay, let these be the two sets under the consideration. Therefore, this universal set is no doubt set of real numbers, and now we were going to discuss the measurability of this set E. Say for an arbitrary set A, right? Then we will just have a look to these points. What is A intersection E and what is A intersection E complement? Yes, what is A intersection E? Common region to both the sets, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? What is A intersection E complement? What is A intersection E complement in this Venn diagram? What is E complement? A part of this real universal set other than E, na? Other than
Remaining
E.
part of A.
Yes, it is remaining part of A. Very good. Let me just shade this region. Right? Therefore, this is my A intersection E complement. This is A intersection E complement, and this part is A intersection E. Therefore, may I say whatever the two parts here it was written, A intersection E and A intersection E complement, are nothing but partitions of the set A or separation of the set A with the help of a set E itself.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Therefore, can I write the set A as A intersection E union A intersection E complement? Correct, no? If we write the set A in terms of the union of these two shaded regions. Pink shaded region is A intersection E, green shaded region is A intersection E complement. Therefore, the set A is given to be the union of these two sections. Therefore, we have written this part. Therefore, actually, this is nothing but partition or separation of the set A with the help of set E. This is what the case if A and E intersect to one another. If A and E do not intersect, what will happen? Yes, what will happen if these two do not intersect? That is disjoint. Say, what will happen now? Say this is my A set and this is E set. Then what about A intersection E? Here I will write. Yes, it is empty. A intersection is empty. Right. And what is A intersection E complement?
Whole A.
Complete A.
Yes, it is whole A. Good. Okay. Therefore, these are the two possibilities. Whenever we were discussing with the two sets, A be an arbitrary subset of R, where E is the fixed set we have taken, and we want to check whether it is a measurable set, that is rather a Lebesgue measurable set as per the definition. Now, whenever we were writing, okay, in the second case also, can I write A as union of these two sections?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Union A intersection E complement. Therefore, whatever is the situation, this statement is true. A is equal to A intersection E union A intersection E complement. If I take outer measure on both the sides, what will happen? Outer measure if I take on both the sides, M star of A. What will happen? How can I find out the outer measure of this right hand side?
Summation.
Is it exactly equal to summation?
Less equal.
Yes, it is less equal. Let me write it again. This is outer measure of A intersection E union A intersection E complement. By which rule?
Countable subadditive.
Yes, by countable subadditivity, we can write M star of A is less than or equals to M star of A intersection E plus M star of A intersection E complement. This is by countable subadditivity property, where we are not getting equal to, we were getting less than or equals to. But if this outer measure has to be countable additive, what should be the symbol? What should be the sign here?
Equal to.
Equal to. And that's why Lebesgue has defined the measurability of the set E such that exactly equal to whole here in place of less equal. In place of less equal, here it should be exactly equal. Therefore, those sets E which satisfies exactly equal to here will be the measurable sets. This is what I am explaining in a very simple terms to you. Okay? For a fixed set E, for an arbitrary set A of a real number, this statement, outer measure of E is equal to outer measure of A intersection E and outer measure of A intersection E complement must hold. Why? Because these two are nothing but the parts, partitions of the set A, right? No. This is first partition and this is the second partition due to the set E, right? And if these two are the partitions, m star of A, actually countable subadditivity give us less than or equals to. But we want countable additivity property. For that, we were defining the set E which possess exactly equal to sign here. Those sets which possess equal to sign here. Okay. Instead of equal to, one can say it is sufficient to have greater equal also. Right now, because already we have less equal. If we get m star of A greater equal by the right hand side, combining both the inequalities, one can say this equal to is going to hold. Right now? Okay. Therefore,
Yes,
what this set E is, when this set E is said to be measurable, for any arbitrary set A, outer measure of A is outer measure of A intersection E and outer measure of A intersection E complement. Rather, this set E is giving us a partition of the set E. Right? Understood measurable set now? The set is
Yes,
said
ma'am.
to be measurable if it is giving outer measure of A is equal to sum of outer measure of their partitions. And partition due to which set? Due to E set. And then this set E is said to be measurable. Then this set E is said to be measurable. No doubt we will see the examples of measurable set. But you just see, if you have any difficulty with the definition, you can ask me. This is the simplest way I have explained. In both the cases, if they have intersection, if they have do not intersection, still A is written as the union of the two parts, A intersection E and A intersection E complement. Okay. And the reason behind having equal to is we want the special sets E which is going to be in future, which is going to give us the countable additivity property. And that's why here we want equal to sign. Is the definition clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, don't get confused. Though we have written A to the left hand side, but this is the definition of set E to be measurable, not for set A to be measurable. A is, here I can write, now for any set it was written. Then we can change the set A. One can replace it with B also. One can replace it with C also. But E set is fixed. Therefore, this is a definition for the set E to be measurable, not for A. Because looking at this left hand side, one may get confused. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, here I will just put a note on this, or one can say a remark or note, anything. Okay. What is the note we were writing? This is the note. Instead of instead of equal to, if we have greater equal, then also it will be sufficient. Okay. Let me write. We know that A is written as A intersection E union A intersection E complement, taking outer measure m star of A, then by countable subadditivity property, this is m star of A intersection E plus m star of A intersection E complement. Reason m star is countably subadditive. Right now, therefore this one is always true. Therefore, in order to prove the definition, one can say it is enough or it is sufficient to prove. Right now, thus set E is measurable if for any set A, if for any set A we have, what we have? Outer measure of A is greater equal by outer measure of A intersection E added with outer measure of A intersection E complement. Okay, or rather this is sufficient condition. A sufficient part I will write. Is that okay? Why this is sufficient? Because less equal always going to hold by countable subadditivity property. Therefore, in order to have equality, it is sufficient to prove that outer measure is greater equal by this right hand side. Is the point clear? Less equal
Yes, ma'am.
always hold. We have to prove only greater equal. Therefore, one may say proving measurability of the set E, it is sufficient to write it is sufficient to prove m star of A is greater equal by this right hand side. Okay. Now let me go to the next part of this. First we will go for a lemma and then we will go for the example. What lemma says actually? Lemma says that if the set E is measurable, then E complement is also measurable. If E is measurable, then E complement is also measurable. In some books, the notation for the complement was used like this also, EC or E bar, right? But in our Radin's book, it was used with this notation like tilde. So we will be following the same notation. Now what is given? The set E is measurable is given to us and the job is to prove that the complement of the set is also measurable. First we will write what is the meaning of E is measurable. We know that. If E is measurable, then if E is measurable, then what happens? M star out here only I will write for any set A subset of R. For any set A, we have M star of A equal to M star of A intersection E added with M star of A intersection E complement. Now, if I want to prove E complement is measurable, what should be the claim? Outer measure of A is equal to, yes, wherever E is there, we will replace it by E complement.
complement.
Therefore, this is E complement added with outer measure of A intersection E double complement now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but what is double complement?
E itself.
Itself.
But this is the second term is A intersection E, no? And which is nothing but
Yes,
this
ma'am.
equation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Therefore, here again we will start with M star of A. I'll call 1 and from 1. We will start from 1 again. M star of A is M star of A intersection E complement. And I will write, I'll just rearrange the term. Right now, this term I have written second and this I have written as first. Okay. Now what I will just adjust, I will adjust this set E as a double complement. Therefore here this E I am writing E complement of E complement. E we were writing complement of E complement, right? Therefore what it is going to prove? Yes, what this implies? E complement is
Measurable.
measurable. E complement is measurable. Okay. There is no issue, I think, with the proof. Okay. Now let us go for the example. Example number 1, we were going to show that phi and r, real numbers, are measurable. Phi and r are measurable. What I will do, I will first prove for r. Okay. In order to prove this r is measurable, We have to start with again for any set A, na? For any set A which is a subset of R. Okay, what should be my right hand side? What we want to claim actually? M star of A is equal to M star of A intersection R added with M star of A intersection R complement, right? No? Therefore, what I
Yes,
do?
ma'am.
I just find out these two values. For any set A in R, what is the value of A intersection R?
A.
Yes, it is A. What is the value of A intersection R complement? What is R complement?
5.
Yes, it is empty. A intersection 5 is
5.
5. Yes, it is
5.
Okay. Now, what are their outer edges that we have to think? Hence, I will take the right hand side. Okay. Hence, outer measure of A intersection R added with outer measure of A intersection R complement. Yes. What is this outer measure of A intersection R? Is it outer measure of A? Okay. And what is outer measure of A intersection R complement? This is outer measure of empty set. But what is the outer measure of empty set?
0.
0.
0.
Yes, it is 0. Therefore, what we were getting? This is equal to outer measure of A. What we have proved? Outer measure of A intersection R added with outer measure of A intersection R complement is equal to outer measure of A. Therefore, may I say R is measurable?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you prove for phi is measurable now? We have proved set of real numbers R is measurable. What for empty set? How can you prove? No doubt you can go by the definition as well. That is, one can find out M star of A is equals to M star of A intersection empty added with M star of A intersection empty complement. What is empty complement?
R.
Real number. R. Right. This also, or we will use this previous lemma. What the lemma says? If the set is measurable, its complement is measurable. But already we have proved R is measurable. Therefore, by previous lemma, its complement is also measurable. No? R complement. What is R complement? Phi.
Empty set 5.
Is measurable. Simple, no? Is the definition difficult?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Okay. So this is an example we have seen. Now in order to elaborate more example, we need one more lemma. That lemma I'll take first and then again we'll go for examples. What the lemma says now? The lemma says that if outer measure is 0, if outer measure of the set E is 0, then E is measurable. E is measurable. Therefore, this will be actually a necessary condition for the set to be measurable. Right now, outer measure 0 is gives us the set is measurable. But whether it means that if the set is measurable, then its outer measure is 0?
No, ma'am.
No, this is not being proved. We were proving only if phi. That is outer measure 0, then E is measurable. Therefore, all those sets whose outer measure is 0 are measurable set. Can you tell me the sets whose outer measures are 0? No doubt we will prove it. Previously, we have, at the time of discussing outer measure, we have seen examples, no?
Singleton X.
Yes, singleton set. Having outer measure 0. Very good. Then, what for finite set?
Yes, ma'am.
Finite
It is
set
also 0.
It is
Yes.
also 0.
What for countable set? Yesterday's lecture. Yesterday
Yes,
or day-
ma'am. It is also
Yes,
0.
ma'am. 0.
Yes, it is countable is also 0. What for Cantor set? A special case we have seen, na, Cantor
Yes,
set.
ma'am. It is 0, but Cantor set is uncountable.
Uncountable but by measurable by this definition now, right? No? Therefore,
Yes, ma'am.
countable and measurable are not the same words, remember. Countable is different, measurable is different. Measurability we were defining with the help of outer measure. Okay, let me prove the lemma and then we will write all those examples. What is the aim? Outer measure 0 implies E is measurable. Whenever we want to prove E is measurable, what is the aim to prove? Yes, what is the aim to prove? For any set A, M star of A is M star of A intersection E added with M star of A intersection E complement for any A subset of R. This is what an aim, or by this note which I have written after the definition. Okay, it is sufficient to prove greater equal also. Right now? Either you prove equality for the set to be measurable, or by this note it is sufficient to prove it is greater equal also. Let us see what we were getting in this lemma. Okay. Now let me just find out this A intersection E and A intersection E complement. Okay. Let A be any set. A be any set. Then may I write A intersection E is contained in E? Because we know the outer measure of this E. Therefore, we were writing both the definition in terms of A and E only. A intersection E is contained in E, correct or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
If it is, then let me take outer measure on both the sides. Then what is the relation between the outer measures? Outer measure of intersection E is
Less than equal.
less than or equals to outer measure of E. Property
M star is monotone.
monotone. Good. Okay, but what is M star of E given to us?
0.
0. Therefore, we were getting M star of A intersection E is less than or equals to 0. Reason M star of E equal to 0 or given. Right? But less than or equals to 0, what it will imply to us? Outer measure is a non-negative function. Therefore, may I say
Equal to
the
0.
only possibility is equal to 0. The only possibility is equal to 0. Therefore, we have obtained the value of this first. Outer measure of A intersection E complement. Now let us go to find out the value of outer measure of A intersection E complement. And I will write. And. What about A intersection E complement? Contained in what? A or E?
A.
A.
Correct, no? A intersection E complement. In Venn diagram also we have seen. This is A intersection E complement, green region, and is contained in A, not in E. Right? Therefore, here I will write A intersection E complement is contained in A. Once again, taking outer measure on both the sides, we will get outer measure of A intersection E complement is less than or equals to outer measure of A. Again, with the similar reason, M star is monotone. M star is monotone. Now, as this is the statement we were getting, outer measure of A is greater or equal by A intersection E complement. But here we can claim this is equal to or greater equal to. No? For one part we have obtained outer measure of A is greater equal by. Outer measure of A is greater equal by A intersection E complement. But what is the value of this middle term? This is 0. Na? Therefore, let me add it to this left hand side. There is no effect on the equality. Inequality,
Yes,
correct? Na? Therefore, I will add outer measure of A intersection E, outer measure of A intersection E complement as less than or equals to outer measure of A, or outer measure of A is greater equal by outer measure of A intersection E added with outer measure of A intersection E complement. Okay, why I have added this to the left hand side? Because the value is 0, and adding a 0 value term on the left hand side doesn't change the inequality. So we have obtained outer measure of A is greater equal by outer measure of A intersection E and A intersection E complement. Therefore, may I say E is measurable now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
E is measurable. Okay, for proving the statement either equal to or greater equal to means the same. Therefore, let us write the more examples. Example 2 now. Empty set and set of real numbers we have seen. Correct now? Therefore, may I write any finite set also measurable?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Finite set measurable. Now, which lemma we were using? This lemma now. Those sets whose outer measures are 0 are the measurable set. And we know outer measure of finite set is 0 always. Therefore, this is measurable. Next, what we have discussed next? Singleton sets also, no? Singleton sets, measurable. What about Z?
Measurable.
Measurable, ma'am.
Measurable.
Why? Why it is
It
measurable?
is finite.
Z, integers.
Countable, ma'am.
Yes, it is countable. Natural numbers, countable, measurable. Correct, na?
Yes, ma'am.
What for Q? Countable, measurable. All countables are measurable, but all measurables need not be countable. But here can I write any countable? Finite is already there, therefore I will write any countably infinite set is measurable. Right now? Because countable in countably infinite set is measurable. If we write only countable, it will also include the word finite. But finite set we have written already. Therefore, we have written specifically any countably infinite set is measurable. Right? What for Cantor set?
Measurable.
Measurable but
Measurable, because we
uncountable.
have proved its outer measure is 0. So these are the examples of measurable set. I think you are quite curious to know which are non-measurable sets. Okay, that will come in further discussions. Don't worry. Okay, any difficulty with the definition and the examples?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Good. Now let me go for an important lemma again, which tells us that if any two sets are measurable, then their union is also measurable. This is the third lemma on measurable set. Simple lemmas are there actually. If E1 and E2 are measurable sets, E1 and E2 are measurable sets, then prove that E1 union E2 is also measurable. What we want to prove? E1 union E2 is measurable. What definition says? That is to prove that for any set A, for any set A subset of R, yes, outer measure of A, you have to tell me now, outer measure of A equal to, yes students,
Outer measure of A
Outer measure of A
intersection
intersection
E1 union E2.
Hmm. Added with
Outer measure of A
of A
intersection
intersection
E1
1
union
union E2 complement.
E2 complement.
yes, very good. This is what we want to claim. This is what we want to prove. Now look at this right hand side very carefully. Anyhow, we want to construct these terms. A intersection E1 union E2 and A intersection E1 union E2 complement. In order to construct these two terms, we were going to make use of the given thing that E1, E2 both are the measurable sets. Now the fact we will use here is to we will use the fact that E2 is measurable. Okay. Now, if E2 is measurable, we know for any subset or for any set A in R, this kind of statement is going to hold. Right? Now, the set I will take as A intersection E1 complement. Here, what I will write, since E2 is measurable, since E2 is measurable, for any set, time being, let me write B in R for your sake of convenience, for the sake of understanding. For any set B in R, what should be the result? M
star
star
of B.
B. Hmm? Right now, B intersection E2 complement. This is by definition of E2 is measurable. Now, using this, we want to construct either one of the terms. Either one of the terms. To construct this, what I will do, I will put the value of B as A intersection E1 complement. What I will do? I will construct, I will put B equal to A intersection E1 complement. If I do so, look at this second term. What will happen? This will be A intersection E1 complement intersection E2 complement term. Right now? This is of the type A intersection E1 complement E2 complement. If I combine both, this will be by De Morgan's law E1 union E2 complement. Correct now?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Therefore, we will put this value of B. Okay, getting me now why we were putting this? In order to construct the second term. Therefore, let us put. If I put this, we will get M star of A intersection E1 complement equal to M star of A intersection E1 complement intersection E2 as it is added with M star of A intersection E1 complement intersection E2 complement. Right? Now we will just use De Morgan's law to write this as in terms of union, right? So this M star of A intersection E1 complement. Rest terms we were carrying as it is. And here by De Morgan's laws, may I write this is A intersection E1 union E2 complement. Reason De Morgan's laws, no? Okay. Therefore, with this, we have constructed the second term of this equation. Therefore, we will find its value and we will denote it by some equation number. What is the value of this term? M star of A intersection E1 union E2 complement is equal to what is the value? Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Just we will shift the term on the left, right? This is A intersection E1 complement intersection E2, and I will name it as statement number 1. Say, is that okay? Now,
Yes,
which term
ma'am.
remains to construct? This term remains to construct. No, this we have constructed. This one has to be constructed now, right? So let us start with the first term of this right hand side. Consider. What to consider? A intersection E1 union E2. Let us check whether we have taken correct term or not. A intersection E1 union E2. Okay. What is its value? By which laws I can find out the values?
Distributive law.
Yes, it is distributive. And the value is?
A intersection E1 union A intersection E2.
Yes. Here the reason is distributive laws. That's why initially I have taken all those laws, distributive, De Morgan's, etc. and etc. Okay. Now, what I am going to adjust is, I am going to adjust this term E2 as E2 intersection E1 complement. Let us see what I am going to do. Left hand side as it is. For the sake of proving the result, no doubt. This term also as it is. Only this E2. I am going to write E2 intersection E1 complement. Tell me what is the value of E2 intersection E1 complement. If E1 and E2 are the two sets of the real numbers, then what is E1 intersection E2 complement?
E2.
Yes, it is E2 itself, right? No? Though they are disjoint or though they are not disjoint. Here I will take not disjoint. Because for disjoint it is obviously true. Let us check for not disjoint. This is E1. This is E2 say of R. Now what we were taking? E2 intersection E1 complement. Look at this and tell me value. E2 intersection E1 complement is E2 itself, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Section in this statement number 2, we have one term like this. Because we have just adjusted. Because at last we want to make the addition so that we can cancel both the terms. This is what the provision actually. Okay. There is no difficulty, I think. Now let me take outer measure on both the sides. Then what this outer measure is giving me? A intersection E1 union E2 is equal to, yes?
Summation O.
Sorry, not equal, this is less equal, no? Countable is subadditive. And star of A intersection E1 added with M star of A intersection. Let me just write E1 first and E2 later. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
E1 complement intersection E2. This is by M star is countably subadditive. Okay. Therefore, now if you check, we have obtained the values of both the terms. This term and this term. By which equation? Equation number 1, second term. Equation number 2 is the first term. Therefore, what is the job remaining? Just to add this equation 1 and 2. Adding 1, 2. What we will get adding 1, 2, left hand side is M star of A intersection E1 union E2 added with an n star of A intersection E1 union E2 complement. Okay. Now what one has to do? One has to add the right hand sides also. One has to add the right hand sides also. What are the right hand sides? If I just look the right hand side of equation number 1 and 2, may I say this term will be cancelled?
Yes, ma'am.
Outer measure of A intersection E1 complement intersection E. In order to cancel this, we have done this adjustment. E2 as E2 intersection E1 complement. Therefore, which are the terms left with us? First terms, A intersection E1 complement and A intersection E1, right now? Therefore, this is less equal now. Outer measure of A intersection E1 added with outer measure of A intersection E1 complement. If you want, you can write both the right hand sides and then you cancel, then also it is okay. But here directly we can see it is cancelled. I am not going to write it again. This is the right hand side we have obtained. But what is this value? This value. May I say this is m star of A? Reason? Look at
E1
this.
is measurable.
Yes, it is E1 is measurable. Look at the right hand side now. What right hand side is? A intersection E1, outer measure of A intersection E1 complemented. Must be equal to outer measure of A because E1 is measurable. Therefore, what we have obtained, what we have proved, outer measure of A is greater equal by. Greater equal, no? Thus, we have proved outer measure of A is greater equal by outer measure of A intersection E1 union E2 added with outer measure of A intersection E1 union E2 complement. We have not obtained equal to. What we have obtained? Greater equal to. But we know by that note that greater equal to is also sufficient. Therefore, may I write here E1 union E2 is measurable. E1 union E2 is measurable. Any difficulty with this? Some adjustment in between we have made actually to prove the result. Here is the first adjustment and here is this is one adjustment. Keeping the value of B as A intersection E1 complement. Two adjustments we have made in order to prove the required result. Thus we have proved E1 union E2 is measurable. Okay. If you have any difficulty, you can ask me. Any difficulty with this?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
While telling the steps, I am telling you why this step we were doing. That also I am telling. If you have to keep those points also in mind. Okay. Now, whatever is this measurable set, okay, whatever the measurable set, all those measurable sets are taken into one set and the collection is called as measurable set and it was written with curly M. This curly M is collection of all measurable sets. Collection of all measurable sets. Two lemmas just now we have proved that if E is measurable, then E complement is also measurable. Also we have proved if E1, E2 are measurable, then their union is also measurable. Okay, and then by De Morgan's law, may I say their intersection is also measurable. Or one can say E complement is in curly M. E1 union E2 is also in curly M. Okay, whatever the symbol you want to make for curly M, you can make it. I will do one symbol only. Okay. Therefore, initially we have seen one definition of an algebra. Do anyone remember what is the definition of algebra we have seen? A collection of subsets of R is called as an algebra if it is closed under, yes, do anyone recall? Algebra and sigma algebra are the 2 points we have seen.
Complementation.
Yes, complementation and finite union. Right now?
Yes, ma'am.
What is algebra? Algebra is a collection of sets which is closed under complement and finite union. And we have seen by De Morgan's law, whenever this is closed under complement and finite union, it is also closed under finite intersection. Correct now? If you have any difficulty, you just go to that lecture and you just watch it again. We have shown that A union B, if it is closed, and then A intersection B is also there. It's closed. What about sigma algebra?
Union of countable collection of set in
Very
curly.
good, very good. An algebra closed under algebra which is closed under countable union. Closed under countable union. And if it is closed under countable union, it will be automatically closed under countable intersection as well. Countable intersection as well. Now look at this curly M set. Curly M is the collection of all measurable sets. We have proved set is measurable, then its complement is measurable. Therefore, E complement is in curly M. Therefore, may I say this is closed under complement. Right? And if E1, E2 are measurable, their union is also measurable. Therefore, may I say this is closed under finite union as well. Finite union. Therefore, may I say this curly M is an algebra. Correct, no?
Yes, ma'am.
This curly M is an algebra. When this becomes sigma algebra? When this curly M collection of all measurable sets, this is an algebra, no doubt, because we have just now proved this is closed under finite union. This becomes sigma algebra if it will be closed under countable union. If it is closed under countable union. Is that okay? Any difficulty?
Yes, ma'am.
Collection M of all measurable sets is algebra. Now we will move towards proving that this will be sigma algebra also, and if we take that sigma algebra to be the domain of an outer measure, we will check whether it is countably additive or not. Okay. For today's lecture, we will stop it here only. If you have any difficulty in today's lecture, you can just ask me. Because the next preposition which we were going to prove will help us to prove that this that outer measure is going to be countably additive, and it was somewhat lengthy proof. Therefore, we will stop it for today. If you have any difficulty, you can just unmute yourself and ask. This last point you should understand. Collection of all measurable sets forms an algebra. Okay. In order to convert this algebra to sigma algebra, we have to simply prove that the curly M collection of all measurable set is closed under countable union. That is what our next theorem is actually. Collection curly M of all measurable sets is sigma algebra. Collection of all measurable sets is sigma algebra. That we will take in next lecture. No difficulties? Yes, students? Do you have the difficulties on this?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Shall we stop there? Thank you for being with me for this lecture. Thank you.